Okay, we are live now. We are live now. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. You're welcome to Best Accounting Practices, first episode 2025. Uh, where should I start from? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. You're welcome. You know that it's this topic is one of the major topics we are not talking about enough in the world of business, because the statistics are saying is so glaring. But what more can we do about the topic? What more can we do about letting these small business owners knows that for you to grow, for you to sustain, for you to be profitable, for you to be big, for you to get to that place you're going to, you need to practice the best accounting practices. You need to just practice them. You need to do it in a way that, yes, you know that these things are done the way they are supposed to be done. One statistic says that over 60% of businesses fail. And when they trace the purpose of this failure, they said about 90% of those businesses are due to poor accounting practices, no record keeping, no cash flow management, no cash flow, there is nothing regulating what is coming in, there is nothing regulating what is going out. This is one of the motivation and the inspiration behind this event you're watching tonight, Best Accounting Practices. Before I go on, thank you so much, everyone. If you are joining us live from Facebook, from YouTube, from LinkedIn, thank you so much for joining us. And for those that are going to be watching the replay, you're welcome to Best Accounting Practices episode 1 2025. And it is going to be a beautiful one. We have Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele here with us, and we have Sir Patrick here with us. You know what that means, right? You're going to be learning from the best. You are learning from the best of the best to learn what works and what you need to start doing in your business. So this program comes in two episodes, just 2 episodes. So this is why it is important you follow all our pages. Follow Dr. Bolu Tife Oluwadele on LinkedIn, on across all the social media. You follow Patrick across all his social media so that you do not miss every necessary update that you need to have about this episode. So today we're first going to be having, for everyone joining us, thank you so much. Just drop I can hear you, I can see you in the comments so that I can welcome you specially with your name. So tonight we are going to be having Dr. Bolu Tife talk about cash flow. Is going to be introducing us to cash flow. Then we're also going to be having Sir Patrick drop his suggestion, talk about this thing together with Dr. Bolu. So I am going to be announcing how the whole episode is going to go after the section. And as the session is ongoing, once you have a question, and able to just type it in the comments. We are going to come there and pick it and treat it. And if it's like a question you want to ask live, once we put our time for question and answer, please do where to ask your question. So in the next 1 second, let's welcome Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele on stage as he's going to be talking to us about Cashflow Man. I want you to pay attention to everything you're going to be learning here tonight because this is where best practices starts. This is where it begins. If you really want that your business to grow. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. We're happy to have you here tonight, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to always come to share knowledge. Yes, if you are doing your business, one of the basic principles is that you have to keep a record. That is after you have done the other processes of registering and all that, fulfilling all the legal requirements. The next is that you have to start keeping your record. And keeping your record is very important. I've spoken about this in so many fora, and it's one subject I will not I'm never tired of speaking about keeping records, keeping adequate records. That enable you to evaluate how you are performing. That enables you to, to be able to measure how you are doing, and it also enables you to plan very well. Today, as we told by the anchor, we'll be talking about cash flow mainly, because we use cash flow has become a kind of a pitfall for so many businesses. A lot of businesses spring up, and in less than 1 or 2 years, they have gone to coma, or they have disappear from the scene altogether. Why I say so? Because they don't, most business people, they don't know how to manage their cash flow. You see, cash flow can come, can be too much, it can also be too little. Either way can create, crisis for a business. So it is very important that, this is one aspect of your business. If you are thinking in terms of sustainability, you want your business not just to put food on your table, but you want it to continue to put that food on your table. Then you must pay very special attention to your cash flow management. So let us you know um, dig it a bit. So what is cash flow? Cash flow is like the lifeblood of your business. All of us know how important blood is into the body. So without adequate blood in your body, either you have high blood pressure or you have low blood pressure, you know that there is a problem. So cash flow is the same thing. It's the lifeblood of any successful business. So without the blood flowing, of course, we know what it means. If you cannot easily get a transfusion when the blood is in shortfall or shortage, then you can be in trouble. That might be the end of your life. The same thing when the blood is not flowing, when the cash flow, the lifeblood of business is not flowing. It is not by mistake that they call it cash flow, because it's something that continues to flow and it has to flow endlessly. But the difference between normal blood and the cash flow is that there are two aspects to cash flow. Um, there is the cash inflow and there is the cash outflow. And every business, is going to experience this too. There is no shortcut. There is no way you can avoid, the two from happening. In most cases, when the outflow is more than inflow, then there's a problem. It means like you cannot meet up with your with your obligations. Even when the inflow is more than outflow, there could still be some issues, because it depends on which sources this inflow is coming. Which resources are they coming from? Because basically there are three major sources by which cash inflow can come into your business, either through operations, which is what is the continuous uh, inflow from operation is wanted is more that is one thing that is very sustainable. It could also come through investment, maybe injecting more money into your business, or through financing. So there are so many. These are basic outlets by which money can come inflow. All these three basic outlets also can also accommodate cash outflow. So you have to be able to balance all this together. But let's just keep it simple for now. So, like, you have to ensure that you have resources to operate. I mean, that is your blood. I mean, the blood, the cash flow should be such adequate that you can operate without hindrance, without delay, without you know uh, any issues at all. Of course, after operating, you'll be able to grow. No, operating is one thing, growing is another thing. You don't want to just operate at the same level over and over. If you do that over time, you discover that you are at a risk, of getting out of business. So you need to think of growing. You also need to think of overcoming challenges. Again, business is not a very stable thing, just like life is not stable. There are times that what you don't expect could come. Can create a shock into your business, and that shock will only be addressed by you know the availability of resources, cash resources at your disposal. When these are not available, it means you find it difficult, to overcome challenges that business to bring. Remember, no matter how well your plan is, no matter how adequate your plan is, no matter how successful your plan is, there are things you will not be able to envisage when you are planning. So those who plan very well, who cross all the T and dot all the I's, will still not be immune from challenges. Challenges will come. Look, let's say for instance now the issue of tariff. Everybody is talking about across the globe. This impact on business cash flow, because when you are selling at a higher price and you are selling fewer quantities and all these they have their cash flow implications for your business. So you have to ensure that you have resources that can make your business to operate without hindrance, that could enhance the growth of your businesses, and that is also adequate to address whatever challenges come your way when you are running your business. This is a critical metric that, if managed effectively, can be a cornerstone for long-term success. Actually, we cannot talk about sustainability without talking of cash flow. There is no business that can sustain itself for a long time without adequately managing their cash flow. So cash flow, don't forget, is the lifeblood of your business. So, and when it is in shortfall, there's a problem. When it is in excess, and nobody wants to have excess blood. I mean, yeah, some people, when they say that what they do is they donate blood into people that may have they go to the blood bank and donate. Some people do it regularly, some use it to share their weight and all that. Um, this parallel may not be like 50-50 or 100%, but just understand that you need cash flow management to keep your blood, to keep your business running the way in which you need blood in your life as a human being to keep running, to keep to enable you do day-to-day activity, to grow from childhood to adulthood and to old age. It's the same thing with cash flow in your business. So you have to understand cash flow. How do you understand cash flow? Cash flow actually is a movement of money into and out of the business. So the money that comes in is called cash inflow. The money that goes out is called cash outflow. You may be wondering, why should we have cash outflow? Basic accounting talks about debit and credit. We talk about the receiver and giver. So before you can receive, you must something must give before you can. When you give, somebody or something must receive. So that is our business. When you buy goods for resale, that is, buying the goods is a cash outflow. Selling the goods and collecting money, that is cash inflow. And that is the two sides of running business. So it is, you can't continue to have only cash inflow. Yes, if it is possible, everybody will want that. But then, what I would, what I mean, even if you are ready service and you say, okay, I bill people and they pay me for my services, you incur some expenses to render that service. So that expenses you are incurring to render the service is cash outflow. So that those two components are very important. And the golden rule is that your cash inflow must be higher than your cash outflow. So when your cash outflow is higher than your cash inflow, then there's an issue. That's a problem. So it means the problem, the business is heading to a rocky storm. So that is the two components of it. So representing liquidity available to fund daily operations, settle obligations. So what do you use this money for? You use it to operate whatever you are doing, either you are manufacturing, either you are selling, or you are rendering service. So you need the cash flow to fund your daily operations, to incur expenses, to settle obligations, because sometimes a third party you know will give you business or invest in your business, or me buy you buy input from a third party, so you have to settle that. Then those obligations, of course, when you have like I said, when you produce goods or service, you don't sell at the same amount in which you produce. Let's say you produce your good for $10. If you want to sell like 12 or $15. So the excess, which is called profit, you pay other things also, and after whatever is left over, you are expected to, invest it in growth opportunities, because sometimes again, just like challenges, opportunities don't announce themselves; they just come. And if you are cash flow balanced, you can take advantage of opportunities that may come at every point in time. But when you don't, then such opportunities will kind of elude you. So it is very important that you understand that cash flow address these three major issues among so many things. Ability to fund your daily operations, ability to settle obligations, and ability to respond to opportunities that will enhance your business further. Those are the very important understanding of cash flow you have to put into hand. So of course, cash flow consists of three components, which I've alluded to earlier on. Operating, that is what you do day to day. Investing, so investing can be both ways. The things you invest in to enhance your production, to enhance your operation and all that. Then financing cash flow. Sometimes, for instance, you may because you sell on credit, you may need some cash to bridge the gap before your customer pay. Sometimes you may apply to line of credit, you may apply to revolving overdraft. So you may also obtain some credit supply from your suppliers. So these are kind of the way you finance your operations, your cash flow. So each of these components, either operating or investing or financing, they have their own unique characteristics and they play crucial role in the business financial health. But their role differ from one another. For instance, if you are getting more surpluses from operating, will be a better stand, like somebody who is yes, his cash flow is a bit adequate, but he's kind of financing it maybe through debt, through line of credit, through overdraft and all that. So waiting for the time the customer will pay. And there are also other issues surrounding that. But this is just to let you know that okay, money can come into your business or go out of your business because, through these three major components: operating, operating, financing, and investing. So all these are part of the what you have to understand. You have to master, because sometimes when you see a lot of cash inflow and you'll be able to ask, okay, is this kind of sources that going to be regular? Is this kind of sources that are going to be repeatable? Or is it just something that you want off? For instance, somebody is getting a huge amount of money into your business as as a debt. They have just, lending you that amount of money, and you see that money, and oh, there's a lot of money around here, and you begin to spend. So understanding and you know this component and the ability to put you know your money, I mean, to compartmentalize this, where the source of money, any money that comes to your business, you'll be able to determine where is this money coming from. Is this something that you know is sustainable? Is something that can continue to maintain? As you can go and take loan from the bank and you begin to spend it as if it's the money you get from your selling your goods or services. It's very important to have this basic understanding, this basic knowledge of all these things. So yeah, operating cash flow, what does it mean? That is cash flow from operations. So the component represent the cash generated from core business activities. Either you are selling or you are rendering services, you know, retail, you have a store, you have even a kiosk, and somebody is coming to buy your good or your services. Then, so that is money from your operation. So what does it do to you? Of course, strong operating cash flow indicates steady sales, efficient operations, and a positive impact on short-term liquidity. When you have make more money from your operating cash flow, you are in a better state because that money actually belongs to you, and whatever you decide on it, um, yeah, there's still the challenge to be able to take optimal decision to to utilize whatever resource is coming from your operating cash flow. But then it's one of the best, the heaviest of all the component for your business. When you have a huge chunk of your cash inflow, especially coming from operation, then you will be in a good stead. Of course, it is crucial for meeting ongoing operational needs. Or the same thing, as money is coming from through operation, cash is inflow, you are getting cash inflow from operations, you will also be spending. There will be some level of cash outflow to the operations. Again, the basic rule here is that when your what you are getting in should be more than what is going out of your business. For instance, if you are selling at a loss, yes, it might mean that then your cash operating cash outflow is more than operating cash inflow, and that is not a healthy balance. A healthy balance is like your operating cash inflow should be much more than your operating cash outflow. So that is where your business can be well sustained. So sustaining business operations depends on the relationship between the the ratio between the operating cash inflows and operating cash outflows. And in every of these components, these two elements will always present itself, inflow and outflow. The basic principle, it lets inflow be more than outflow, especially in terms of operating cash flow. These are things we should be very conscious of. These are things we should pay good attention to. And that is why I said earlier on at the beginning, and just as the anchor also said, keeping good record is cannot be overemphasized. It is very essential. In order to have this balance, you must keep good record. Without good record, you cannot separate into all these components. Without good record keeping, you cannot even assess how you are performing. And without good record, you cannot plan adequately to even take advantage, even when you are having a better, a more robust cash flow, operating cash flow, uh, over and above operating cash outflow. Record keeping is very essential, and don't ever joke with that. The second one is investing cash flow. So this component represents the cash use in or generally from investment. Example, company buys new machinery or sell an old office furniture. So now when you buy new machinery, you are investing. So that is a cash outflow. Usually because most of the times the equipment uh, are expected to be used more than 1 or 2 years. In terms of depreciation, what depreciation does for you is to spread that cost. But the actual that is that's only helping profit measurement. But the actual cash outflow go has gone out, which means you are spending more at that moment because in order to make your operation smoother, maybe there's an improved technology, you want to upgrade your equipment and everything. That is you know a cash outflow. It's an investment, but it's a cash outflow. Now, when you are now selling some old equipment, sometimes you have excess equipment, or you are replacing equipment, or whatever reason you want to sell old asset. That is cash inflow. That one is bringing money onto you. So, though in the past you have spent that money, it has gone out when you bought the equipment newly. It has gone out as a cash outflow, and you have used it, and you have a portion in terms of depreciation or amortization. I'm trying to very not strongly not to use too many technical words here. So when you are buying the component, buy the equipment, you are spending money. So that is a cash outflow. When if you are selling any of the equipment to a third party now, either they are no longer needed, or they are whatever for whatever reason, that is a cash inflow, meaning money is coming to your business. In this case, we are not talking about whether this you are selling at a profit at a loss, because whatever you are selling, um, you take that's what we call net book value, which is just an artificial value based, though there's some guidance for the position and all that. So, but that money is coming into your business as a cash inflow. So, and this one of the cash inflow that we call a one-off. It is not a regular cash inflow. So, if such money comes and you see a lot of money and you begin to spend, it could create some imbalance in the future. So you have to also be able to decide adequately, okay, I am selling an old equipment. What do I do with the money? Can I invest the money back into the business, or can I use the money to deposit for new equipment and all that? These are kind of decision you are going to make. So it's not the case that okay, any money you see in the business, you begin to spend without uh, minding the source of that money. That is why we are taking time to let you see these three components of where by which money can come in or money can go out, and each of them they have their own you know different impact on the business, and you have to pay to attention to all of those impact. Of course, you can invest the cash flow for growth and expansion. For instance, maybe you want to increase your install capacity, and to increase that install capacity will require that you buy a more sophisticated equipment and all that. Especially if your uh, the market for your products are increasing and the demand for your goods are increasing, you can choose to invest in equipment. So, for which will enable you to grow and expand. Of course, the more you produce, you also talk about economy of scale. For instance, if you get a bigger component and you are producing more units than you before. When you look at the concept of fixed costs and variable costs and all that, it means that the cost per unit might reduce. And that means also if you are still selling at the same old price, it means your margin will increase. And when your margin increase, and eventually your profit will increase. Sometimes, you know, like the Yoruba will say, use money to make money. So this is where investing, you know, in more in expanding your business, in growing your business, can be an advantage. Though this investment here will be more of a cash outflow, and most of the time, if that cash outflow is coming from your reserve, from what you have saved in the past, it become easier. That's the kind of opportunity also that we talked about earlier on. So then it's also presents a long-term strategy, which is crucial for long-term profitability. Some of them I've just mentioned now. Ensuring that your business remain competitive and innovative. For instance, now if there are new technology that is more efficient, that enable you to produce maybe 100 units per hour, as against your current situation where you are producing about 40 or 50 units per hour. So it's to your advantage. Like actually, apart from achieving economy of scale, you're also achieving some level of efficiency, and that means that you're also expanding your bottom line, because at the end of the day, um, if you are producing before maybe $5 per unit, and now you have a new equipment that enable you to produce $3 per unit, and you are still selling at 10 naira per or 7 naira $7 per unit, it means that your bottom line is expanding. So in investing, again, you can have there are two components. I mean, two outflow. I mean, two flowing. So one is inflow and that one is the outflow. So again, even inflow from investing is usually not a regular thing. It's something that comes once in a while. You are setting up a business now. You are setting up an equipment. You are, you know, all those things. The only exception maybe you renting a place which is an investment, and you are co-renting the place with another person. So you may be getting some cash inflow from your previous investment, and that may be a fairly regular one depending on the lease agreement you have with your landlord and all that. So yeah, that is that about investing cash flow. Of course, the third component is the financing cash flow. So this can come from debt and equity. For instance, you get you know a loan from a bank or financial institution. It could be a short-term loan, it could be a medium-term loan, it could be a long-term loan. It could even be line of credit, it could be overdraft. So you are bringing that money, it's an inflow into the business, or somebody is coming to invest in your business as an investor, and is injecting more money, which is equity. For instance, as a startup, you want to raise money from investors, or you repay a back loan. So the inflow out of it is like this money is coming to your business, but actually it's like a loan. It's not your own money. It's a money to loan to the business, which the business is going to pay back. And paying back also is not going to pay back the exact amount that you borrowed. You have to pay with interest. So there's an interest component to it. Then there's also your financing cash flow. Also talk about your capital structure. It may also mean that you are selling a percentage of your holding in the business, especially if it's an equity. If somebody is coming with, let's say, to buy 10% of 20% of your business and is bringing money, of course, that is diluting the ownership. It does mean that, okay, whatever gain you make at the end of the day, that person will be entitled to the amount of investment the person is bringing. So, which is like, if the person is bringing like 20% or 30% of equity, though the money, the cash inflow is there, but at the end of the day, um, there will be a cash outflow at the end of the day. If it is loan or debt or loan, it means that you are going to pay the amount back plus interest. If it is equity, yes, you may not be paying that extra amount uh, immediately, but you have to share the prosperity of the business in terms of dividend. You pay the dividend to the person that is bringing the equity into the business. Again, this is not something that occur regularly, unlike the operating cash flow. Operating cash flow is expected to occur regularly. Financing cash flow is not expected to occur regularly. So, and one of the beautiful thing about this also, it grants you access to capital because remember the basic four components of business: land, capital, uh, uh, land. Oh my God, land, capital, entrepreneur. That's one I miss out now. Land
Labor.
labor, thank you. Land labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So all those the capital aspect of it. Sometimes we are talking about opportunity earlier on. There are times you cannot take advantage of opportunity because you don't have enough resources in terms of cash flow. So when you uh, financing cash flow help you to bridge that gap. For example, somebody is coming to invest in your business, or somebody is granting you a loan to take advantage of quick opportunities. So those are the the thing you get from your financing activities. Again, financing activity always carry with it somebody. It's usually not free. If I invest 2 million or whatever amount of money in your business, I'm not just dashing you that money. I'm expecting that, okay, when you are returning my 2 million, you have to return it with something else. So you are not, if I give you 2 million to expand your business, when you are returning my money, you are not going to give me exactly 2 million. So depending on what we agree on, or depending on the prevailing interest rate, you have to pay that with interest. So it does mean that if $1 is coming as inflow through financial cash flow at the beginning of a time, maybe at the end of a period, that it's going back, it's going out as $1.5, depending on the interest. This is just using this figure loosely there. So financing cash flow has its own obligation that you have to fulfill, but it can also help you to bridge the immediate gap uh, at the moment. So if you're out of these three components, it is to remain healthy. The operating cash flow should be, especially cash inflow from operation, should take the highest chunk of your cash inflow if you want to remain stable and sustain in your business. So those are the kind of things you have to understand. So when you see money around your business, you ask yourself, where is this money coming from? Is it coming from operation? Is it coming from investment? Is it coming from financing? Because they are very important. When you don't understand these basic differences where this money is coming from, you may just see money, it's just like finding money in your pocket and you just spend it without even knowing whether that money carry a burden on it. For instance, if you take a debt, you take a loan, that cash inflow carries a burden that has to be discharged at some time in the future, and that also impacts your you know, cash flow in the long run too. Yeah, there's always this misconception about cash flow and profit, and again spoken about this so many ways. Now, when you run a business or you render a service, you take your whatever you get from your customer. Let's say you are selling a product at $10, and you look at all your costs. to get that product to the customer. Maybe your product is your cost, which is your cash flow, is about uh, like $7. You can also I've made a profit of $3. That's 10 minus 7. Fine. But if that $3 is not in your hand, so the question is like, how many if you sell $10 and you collect your money, and the third party responsible your input of $7, you pay your $7, and then you have net of $3. It means that your profit and your cash flow, they are the same. But in real business life, it's not always like this, because you may find out that, okay, you sold this thing for $10, but a customer is owing you $4, but your profit is $3. It means that you are actually running at a critical problem, because you have a cash shortage of $1. So that cash shortage, though your business is profitable, your cash flow is not in good state, and that can lead to your business collapse. So you begin to wonder, but this business is good. This business is making profit. Why am I not seeing the money? You are not seeing the money because the money is in the hand of your debtors. Debtor management is another issue altogether. I'm just, you know, saying this to clear the misconception that most businesses have. You say, okay, somebody is running a business. The business is profitable. It is, I mean, generally profitable, but after about 6 months, the business collapses. Why is it so? This is the difference between, okay, a profit may be profitable, but with inadequate cash flow system, the business may not be sustainable. So cash flow sustain business better than profit. So the profit is also good. Profit is very important. Profit is very important for your business. If you are running at a loss, of course, both your business and your cash flow will be in jeopardy. That will make the business to collapse faster. But when your business is not at a profit, and it may give you this fake comfort that you are doing well, but if without paying attention to your cash flow, if your business is profitable, please and please don't neglect the management of your cash flow, because even a profitable business with a bad cash flow management will still collapse. It may not be as faster as a business that is not profitable, because if you are running at a loss, quickly you will collapse. But if your business is profitable, but the only challenge you have is that your cash flow is, part of your money, the huge aspect of your money is with debtors. For instance, if you have a loose credit policy, whereby a very relaxed credit policy, people will buy your goods because the condition is very profitable to them. It's very, I mean, friendly to your customer. I've always used the example of bakery, especially in places like Nigeria. Business Bakery business is one business that collapsed so quickly. And why is it so? Because these women selling bread, they buy on credit. And sometimes they buy on credit. They have a revolving way of buying. Sometimes when they don't remit cash to the baker, and the guy is trying to be difficult, they will go to another bakery. Especially when you have a kind of generic name. We used to have this generic name in Lagos. We call every bread that is not sliced bread, we call them agege bread. So an baker, average bakery produce agege bread. So you don't even know which one is producing. But meanwhile, you are buying bread, you don't buy on credit, you pay cash. But the seller may not be remitting money even to the owner of the bakery. So this leads to though the bakery is profitable, but there's usually this challenge of their cash flow management, and this leads to serious collapse, serious mortality in that industry. So it's the same thing. So cash flow talks about your actual liquidity, the money that is in your hand, the money that is available for you to take decision, to respond to decision, to pay bills, to pay obligations, to take advantage of opportunities, to grow your business. That is liquidity. So that's some will say liquidity is better than profitability, which is true. But the two can go together if they are well managed. And when they were well managed, you as a business owner, you will have rest of mind. But when you don't pay attention to either of them, especially to cash flow, even when you are profitable, your business can still be in jeopardy. It's very, very critical to understand the differences, because people have always asked the question, but the business is doing well. Okay, it's doing well in terms of profit, but is it doing well in terms of cash flow management? Very important. And even this affect even big businesses, big corporations. We see their level of exposure, to debt is because they have this uh, better access to finance. If most of their cash inflow is coming from financing or investing uh, components, and less from operating component, they will still run into trouble. That's why you see big uh, chain business collapsing, just like the regular, by the roadside businesses. Cash flow is king. Cash flow is the lifeblood of a business. Paying attention to it is very, very important for you, for your sustainability. Why does it matter? Why should we talk about cash flow? All of us understand money, don't we? Everybody that is running business is running business for one thing. You want to make business. You want to make more money. Rather, you are doing business because you want to. Except in a situation whereby you just want to. Everybody's doing business. You want to also do business. Everybody is running business. You want to run business. But there are three issues where cash flow is very important. Number one is liquidity. Liquidity is the money that's in your hand. They say bird at hand is worth more than two in the bush. So if liquidity is one thing that can lead to quick death of your business, if you are not liquid, usually there's what we call acid ratio. We call it acid because something that could make you to respond to your obligations, to fulfill your obligations as and when due. So, for instance, the rule of the thumb is like your inflow, your cash inflow, quick asset test, like cash asset, cash and cash equivalent should be ratio 2 to 1 against your obligation, your cash and your debt, your asset and your liability. When you have a liability of 1 and you have an asset of 2, it means that every point in time you can discharge your liability, you can discharge your obligations. So, but when it is not so, because um, we don't, and when in calculating acid test, we don't bring in debtor because you may not be able to get the money immediately. You just think of what you can sell it quickly, your fixed deposit, your whatever money, your liquid assets. We call it liquid assets. Things that you can turn into money, things you can use to immediately pay others. Because if somebody is owing me, I sold my goods to the person, and the person assumes is my debtor. I'm I'm at his mercy to pay. He can tell, "Oh, I will pay you next week. I will pay you next tomorrow. I will pay you next 1 month." And the woman is not paying. The guy that I'm owing will not wait for me. We say, "Look, I need my money today." And the danger here is like when you have too many creditors you are not paying, they have the legal right to apply to to wind up your business. Your creditors can wind up your business. Whereas you are the master of your debtors, you have to be begging them to pay. In some client, when they delay payment, yeah, they pay finance charges for delay payment. In some other clients, you have to even beg them, give them discount for them to pay, so that you can still get something out of whatever they are owing you. So liquidity is one of the very, very most essential thing where we have to where cash flow matters, where we have to manage it. Again, if your inflow should ideally be greater than your outflow, but then even that inflow, you'll be able to understand what is the component of this inflow so that you can take the right decision. Of course, cash flow enables you, good cash flow enables you to grow because you are able to take advantage of many opportunities that will be open to you. For instance, somebody is something like bulk purchase. You buy in bulk, you get bulk discount. That means that your profit margin will increase, especially if you are still charging the same price at the other end, or maybe a particular component is on sale, and you quickly go there because you have the money to respond to it, you buy it, and you move. Then you have money to, maybe your equipment is obsolete. You discover that there's an equipment that is more efficient, that is more that will reduce your, that will give you economy of scale, enable you to produce more within the same period, and with that will crash the unit per price. The price per unit, the cost per unit rather. So, and if you maintain the same price, it means you are not going to have a higher margin than you would have otherwise. And again, cash flow is important for your survival, for your sustainability. You cannot, business collapse so quickly. The one that will survive is the one that has effective and efficient cash flow management. So that is why we cannot overemphasize cash flow. So when you manage your cash flow, it gives you liquidity comfort. You don't run out. You are not at the mercy of your creditors because you are able to meet your obligations as and when due. It enables you to grow, to expand, to increment. And when you are expanding, you achieve economy of scale. That means you are expanding your bottom line. Growth enables you to expand your bottom line. And of course, it's a survive. Sustainability. Your sustainability as a business is almost primarily resting on your cash flow, how good your cash flow is. Your business can be profitable, but that does not guarantee sustainability, especially if your cash flow is in shambles. When you have the two, good cash flow system and good profitability, you will achieve a lot of synergy. That is the idea. Then it means you can now optimally benefit from your business, from running your business. But when one of this leg is wobbling, then there's a problem. But more importantly, I will even rate even cash flow above profitability, because if you manage your cash flow very well, you will, I mean, let, technically you will become profitable because you will pay attention to things that matters. You will not spend money frivolously. Even your in sourcing your equipment, your components, your inputs, you will be able to adequately manage it well, so that you will know that you are not you are not producing at a loss. You are not rendering service at a loss, because all those things also, your cash flow management is able to, to guarantee you that. Then there's a major issue with cash flow, which is the timing of the money coming. For instance, if I'm buying input to produce and I must pay immediately, the timing of my outflow is now, but the timing of my inflow is like 3 or 4 months. That's a problem there. That gap is too much. Except, and if I have to, even if I have adequate facility to bridge that gap, maybe I have line of credit or I have access to overdraft facilities, I'm not accessing those free of charge. It means I'm increasing my cost of production. And when I'm increasing my cost of production, at the end of the day, my profit is reducing too. So that is why it is very important to pay closer attention to cash flow management. Remember, it helps you to manage your liquidity better, give you a comforting liquidity, giving you ability to grow and to respond to opportunities, and is strictly, you know, critical to your survival and your sustainability. Yeah, liquidity and solvency. Again, this is another issue that people is no they mix together, just like the issue of profitability and cash flow. This is just expanding this uh, further. Liquidity ensures that you are able to meet your immediate short-term obligations, paying your supplier, paying your staff salaries, paying for utilities, paying the bills as and when due. Solvency is the ability to be able to continue in operation without anyone hindering your operation, without the fear that your creditors can apply that you should wind down, but without the fear that, okay, oh, the person that is granting you line of credit says you can no longer grant you line of credit, or you have maxed your credit, you are no longer entitled, you can no longer apply for credit facility, or somebody, your revolving overdraft, somebody said, they discontinue it. And the moment they discontinue that, then you fall back to inability to meet your obligations. Because when that happens, you become illiquid. When you don't have access to, I know there are times that you may not be able to get all your cash flow from operation. There are times genuinely you may not be able to. There are times that if you are, for instance, if you are retooling, you are changing your equipment, you don't want to just keep the old equipment idle. You want to dispose of them. Yeah, that will bring you additional cash inflow. So there are times this also you need those opportunity to bridge the gap. But when it is become a perpetual thing that you are getting less and less from your operation, then your solvency is at risk. Remember, it's not every day you will have equipment to resell. It's not every time you want to go and take loan. It's not every time you keep on giving out equity. Because the moment you give out equity, the more equity you give, the less your ownership is impaired. If you own a business 100%, and because you run into financial crisis, you issue shares you give out 20% today, tomorrow you give another 20%, tomorrow you give another 20, next week you give another 20%. That is 60%. You become a minority. Even that one, I mean, in boardroom politics, they can edge you out. They can take your business from you, or they take decision that is different from your original dream of the business. So all the other aspect of all the other components, they are not what you can completely depend on. For your solvency to be guaranteed, you also ensure that your operating cash flow is well monitored, is well designed. Part of it is like when you are granting credit facilities, sometimes, or you are selling a credit, which sometimes is unavoidable, you should be sure you have a policy in place. And not just a policy in place, you must be able to monitor that policy to ensure that you know you don't just give out credit facilities as a Father Christmas. You are doing it. There are some things you have to put in place. Uh, this is just to measure all those things. So for you to your cash flow will give you immediate good cash flow, will give you good liquidity. Sustainable cash flow with profitability will give you solvency. You have to combine the two to be solvent, because um, liquidity is like a relay race or 100 meters, you know, sprint. Solvency is a marathon, so you need endurance rather, to be able to attain to solvency. And you have to keep on doing what is right before you can get to that level. It's not something it's not a one-off thing that you do and you just move away. So facilitating daily operations. When you have good liquidity, it enables you to run smoothly. Your operation is running smoothly. You are not, there's no fear that somebody is coming to go and close your office or close your shop or close your factory because you are owing them, or somebody is coming to seize your equipment that you have used as collateral or whatever. So it enables your operation to run smoothly. There is no disruptions, even sometimes when you don't have enough cash flow, uh, rather than enjoying a bulk purchase, you may be forced to buy in cash and you pay higher price. So you buy in bits and pieces, and that at the end of the day, that will increase the cost of production, and the average cost per unit will rise, and that's create some distortion in your profit. And of course, it enables you to continue to produce. Continuous operation, continuous production can also achieve you some level of economy of scale. For instance, if there is a gap in production, you shut down your machine, then you want to start again. There are some process which some physical you will incur from starting all over again. So, and all this at the end of the day will increase your overall cost per unit. And the more the cost per unit is increasing, and especially in a situation where you cannot pass on all the excess to customers, or in a competitive environment where there's a limit to which you can continue passing on to the customer, you will discover that your profit will begin to narrow down, narrow down, and then it will now become complicated. If you still have to sell on credit, and your debtors are not paying on time, then you will run into crisis beyond your imagination. So that is why paying attention to cash flow is very, very important, and you cannot actually overemphasize it. So, yeah, supporting growth and opportunity. When opportunity comes unannounced, I've said this and just re-emphasizing it. So, but when there is opportunities and you have money to respond to it, you are better off. So, cash flow enable you businesses to seize opportunities like market expansion, investing in new technology, or launching new products. But if you have all these ideas and you have these opportunities staring at you, then you don't have money to respond to them, then they will just go away. And you can't plan growth when you don't have adequate cash reserve. That is why, in terms of surpluses, what do you do with your surpluses? And how do you grow your cash reserves? How do you grow, you know, plan, to growth plan that continue to expand so that you could become sustainability. I've said it in some fora too. Actually, I'm uh, writing a new book on that, how to manage cash surplus and cash shortfall, because those are two other components of that. And in the next couple of months, I expect that the book shall be out, which be my fourth business book. The first one, you can still get this one on Amazon. The first one is business strategy manual. The second one is budgeting for busy business owner. uh, Simple simplified budgeting system for busy business owner, and the other one is you know cash flow management also. So those are the three books that are already on ground. You can search for them on Amazon and you get those books. Um, but another one is coming, which I want to look at, even the two uh, component of cash flow, which is cash surplus and cash shortfall, because all the two they pose a different challenges to businesses. So in the next few months, be expectant that book should be out, where I will also explain most of these things in a very simple language. So your cash flow enable you to handle emergency, economic downturn. Sometimes things happen, you know, we you mean you can have equipment breakdown, you can have unexpected repairs, you can have supply chain disruptions, you can have so many things that, okay, if you have supply chain disruption, your regular suppliers say, "Oh, we have challenges, we cannot this thing." So, and you are going to go to a new supplier that you have not done business with. That new supplier will not give you credit. It will not give you credit facilities. We expect you to pay in cash. And when you don't have cash to pay, what happened? Your business is put on hold. If you are in production, you will not be able to produce, or you reduce your capacity to produce. Maybe your install capacity is about you are able, operating at, maybe, let's say you're operating at 80% capacity and there is a disruption, and you now drop to like 40 or 50% capacity. That means that the overhead will increase. That means that the cost per unit will rise. Again, if you are not able to increase your price by the same margin, then your profits will be shrinking. And over time, it may get you out of business. And if you are using an obsolete equipment and you need money to buy new equipment and you are not able to source finance from outside, then you may either pack shop, or you you become uncompetitive. And over a long time, the business become unsustainable. Yeah, sometimes there are times we are just not too long ago we witnessed COVID-19 and a lot of dynamics change in business. But those with strong cash flow were able to survive the unexpected tragedy. Even that it made some order to innovate, and that innovation, brought great advantage to them. We have so many platforms, like we are using StreamYard now. Those are all the product of COVID-19 innovation that came out, and look at they are cashing out now. Zoom became more popular for meetings, for everything. So there are a lot of opportunities that came to that. If they had not had good cash flow to be able to respond to these opportunities, they some of them would have packed up business. We've seen so many popular businesses that have gone and that have gone under. So yeah, so that is it. Your good cash flow system enable you to handle emergencies when they occur. So yeah, so far, what are we talking about? We are saying cash flow is very crucial to for your business sustainability. Cash flow is essential for your business survival, for your business growth and your resilience. Don't overlook its importance. Very important. Don't overlook the importance of cash flow. Yes, we know how to spend money, but then you cannot even have basic principle of managing cash flow if you don't keep cash flow, if you don't keep record. The basic thing is to have adequate record keeping. Then make it manage it effectively. Money has spirit. When it is too much, you can take a wrong decision. So be very careful. So effective cash flow management is key to long-term success. Not don't think only about today when there is a moment of cash surplus. Remember for those who are familiar with the Bible, remember the story of Joseph and Pharaoh. I mean, the seven big cow and the seven lean cow. So the lean one swallowed the big one, which is like it doesn't make sense. But that is how catch race. In fact, those are the one thing. If you are the one, go back to that story and read it again. The limp year can will swallow the fat year. So if you don't manage your cash flow when it is flowing, the time trouble will come. You will not be able to manage it if you don't plan ahead for it. So uh, liquidity is very important. Ensuring liquidity, solvency, and the ability to seize opportunities. Opportunities will always come unannounced. So if you are prepared, like the boss card will say, be prepared. So cash flow management is about being prepared for whatever opportunities that will come. So sometimes if you are confused, how do you want to do it? Oh, I don't know how to manage it. Yeah, it is simple. It is can also be complicated if you don't know it. So what you don't know is what you don't know. So don't um don't think because you are running business, you have experience, you'll be able to handle everything by yourself. Seek professional advice. Talk to professionals around you. If you want to talk to us, we are also available. So um of course we cannot cover all the grants, throughout the world. So but make sure that if you are having challenge, don't hide it. Talk to professionals. Talk to people like us who understand this, and we can guide you through it. And you'll be happier you did. So don't take your cash flow for granted. Yes, because cash flow all by itself can sink your business if you don't pay attention to it. But if you pay attention to it, your business will be alive and kicking and sustainable. So yeah, let me pause here and hopefully take some questions. Then we listen to some comments for my colleague, Mr. Patrick, who is joining us live from Accra, Ghana. Thank you. Yeah, Uncle Tayo.
Okay, Mr. Patrick, can you hear us? Mr. Patrick, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you also hear me? Please confirm.
Clearly,
Yes, we
sir.
can.
Addition, before we start
Okay.
taking some questions or anything.
Okay, so thank you very much, Doc. I think that this has been a very insightful conversation, very detailed, with some great points around cash flow management. And I'm particularly happy that you consistently repeated the important adage that cash flow is the blood of the business, and the cash flow will lead you to a faster collapse than profitability, because if you are not able to manage your day-to-day operational expenses, which are a component of cash flow, eventually your business will not even be able to see the light of day to receive or enjoy profit that will come at the end of the year. So a typical example is the fact that if you have salaries of staff which are part of the operation not being able to be paid because you have a lot of funds locked up with your debtors, and the staff begin to resign here and there, they complain of low salaries and all of that. With time, if you are not able to replace these staffs, the cash flow, the inflow itself will begin to dry down, and that alone will pose a bigger challenge for you as a business, and that can quickly lead you to losing your business to your competitor, and eventually not being able to manage yourself well, and that will wipe away all the expected profitability that you have in mind. So, I mean, cash flow is one that we cannot overemphasize in terms of its importance. And it's good that we have a doc break it down, especially looking at it from the operating side, from the investing side, and all of that. That gives us a vivid understanding as small businesses and even large corporate institutions to see where we put our effort around. What are the credit policies that we need to set out for our debtors? How do we manage even going in for loans for our businesses? What kind of structure of a loan do we go for? Because the structure that you go for has an implication of cash flow. If you need to go in for a term loan where you pay month on month interest and principal, how does that impact on your ability to have your operation running? These are critical things that must be factored in when you are putting your cash flow management in place. And one other thing that he mentioned that I also found very, very insightful is the issue of record keeping. Now, the stomach of cash flow for me is record keeping, and Doc said it, because for you to be able to track, to know that this is where I am in terms of my cash inflows and outflows, it's all about how well you keep your records. And that, again, is a very important aspect of the conversation. So, Doc, thank you very much. I think that you've covered all the areas and all the salient points in this part one of our session. I don't think that I need to belittle the point that you've made and also to go over the points again. I think that we've covered all the points. I want to appreciate your time and hand over to our uncle, our host, to take some questions from our audience who are watching live across the world. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you so
most
much, Sir
welcome, Mr.
Patrick.
Patrick.
And thank you so much, Dr. Bolu. I am sure that you've learned something tonight. If you are just joining us, do well to start the video from the beginning because Dr. Bolu has shared valuable insights from the beginning. So if you're just joining us, please do well to start the video from the beginning so that you do not miss any information, so that you don't miss any information at all. So this is not the end of it. Please, you can start dropping your question as I try to talk about this. This is not the end of it. This is just the session one. Imagine if session one is this powerful. What should you expect from section two or episode two? You have it. So we have episode two coming up in the coming week. We are going to be releasing more details on our pages. So this is why it is essential that you're following Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele across all the social platforms on LinkedIn, on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and that of Sir Patrick as well on LinkedIn, on TikTok, and YouTube. So you should be following us so that you do not miss the details of the upcoming section. So there's something you said. I just want to talk about that thing again, in case you're just joining us and you've not listened from the beginning. We said cash flow management sustains business better than profits. Imagine how powerful that statement is. So this is why you don't need to mistake profit making to sustainability, because you're making instant $1, $2, instant profit doesn't mean that yes, that is all about the business. There's still more, and so that you do not so people will be like, that is why you see huge companies, big ones, they are making profits, but before you know it, they are down. One just happened of recent year in Nigeria, I'm not going to mention name. They are down. what is the problem? Record keeping and cash flow management, so that you are not a victim of this problem. That is why we are bringing this program to you. This is why it is essential. You should not miss this episode and the coming episode. And that will not be all. We are going to be unveiling more. We're going to be unveiling more to you on the second episode, because we want to hold your hands through the process. We want to teach you, show you how it is done. So therefore, I'm waiting to have your question in the comments. Thank you so much, Mr. Ola Oluwabimbola. He said this has been interesting and there are important financial lessons. Thank you so much. Thank you. The second person, I don't know, I cannot see the name. Is showing me this the person confirmed one of the things Dr. Bolu just mentioned. Said absolutely. Thank you so much. So one quick question before we round it up, because we've exceeded our time. One quick question from the group. So Dr. Bolu already said cash flow management is not something as profitability. That you making a start, and I just mentioned it again. You making a start, $10, $3, $4, $20 does not mean you're already doing well. You're already doing well. What then are like the like how would the person know that okay, this business needs more cash flow management, or is it just profits that is going on? How does this person know that this business is on track, that this business is well managed in terms of cash flow?
Well, thank you very much. Again, we go back to the basics. If you don't keep record, you cannot know. If you don't keep the adequate record, you cannot know. Because what you do is that you open your drawer, there is money there. Oh, there is money here. And you spend. So and after you finish spending the money, for instance, like Patrick said, oh, today is the last day of the month. I will not pay staff salary. Then you begin to tell story. Uh, and again, the other, if I want to go to the dangers of delaying staff salary, that's going to be a whole lecture on its own. Because when you delay staff salary, you are exposing yourself to so many things. One, you are exposing yourself, the business, to theft. People might start stealing the product. You are exposing the business for um, drop in operation. You are exposing the business to wastage. Some business, some staff, okay, we cannot steal this product, but we waste it. So your overhead will unnecessarily increase. So, and me, production could be delayed. Even some people can destroy, some workers can destroy your equipment. So causing production disruptions, you know, breakdown of equipment, deliberate sabotage, and all that. And of course, you may lose good hands. And when you are losing good hands, you incur another cost in recruitment and training. Because when you are bringing, that's what we call in production, that's what we call orange curve. That when people come, they start the process, they learn and they become efficient over time. So and the more efficient your workers is, you are also beginning to achieve low cost of production, because the wastage is reduced. The average cost per unit of finished product is also reducing. And when these are reducing, your profit is increasing. Now, when you begin to owe staff salary, this will become a reverser. All this benefit will be reversed. Then you begin to produce at a shortfall, you'll be making losses. And if you are in a place whereby they see the staff will still sue you, you will still collect your money. They will still collect their money. In some places, you will pay interest on that money. So, I mean, like I said, that is its own, it's a whole lecture on its own. So, and that is one of the many dangers. So, yeah, that's, but then keep good records.
Keep good records. Keep good records. So people, their excuse is I'm not selling more than this this 1,000, this 2,000, this 3,000. If you do not start your accounting practices right now, when you start earning more, you will not know. You will not even know if your business is growing or not. So even if it's 100 naira you are earning, keep records. The income, the expenses, everything doctor has said from the beginning of this program. So Sir Patrick Favor joining us from Ghana. Thank you so much. Uh, mm, I don't want to murder your name. I'm so sorry. Miss or Mrs. Bismarck, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Like I said earlier, there's still more. This is just episode one of this event. There is another episode coming up next week, and we'll be having Sir Patrick talk. We'll be having Sir Patrick lecture and teach us, just like we had Dr. Bolu today. So you don't want to miss it. You don't want to, everything you've learned today. Now imagine what you're going to be learning next week. You don't want to miss the section. Like I said earlier, go to their social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Their name is there, Dr. Bolutife Oluwadele and Sir Patrick Abankwa. So you need to follow them for you not to miss these details. So thank you so much, everyone. For those that are going to be watching the episode, thank you so much. For everyone that joined us up to this point, thank you so much. I'm sure that you've gotten something to take home. Yes, to take home or to take away with you from this section. So like doctor has said, visit their profile, check them out. There are free content on their pages that you can start learning from even before next week. For Dr. Bolu, we have over 100 videos that will teach you business management, cash flow management, sustainability, and on Sir Patrick Bar on his TikTok, on his YouTube as well. We have hundreds of video that is going to teach you financial literacy, how you can even start investing savings from whatever you are earning at the moment. So do where to go and follow them so that you don't miss out. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us. Be on the lookout. We're going to be sharing more details on how episode 2 is going to go. So let me hear from Sir Patrick. Any other thing before I call it a day on the event? Any other something what they should expect next week, how they should start preparing their minds?
Yeah, so next week is going to be another exciting discussion. I'll be talking about the best accounting practices that people should look out for, especially businesses. Whether you are big or small, we are going to discuss that. We are also going to look at some principles around cash and accruals when it comes to accounting. We are going to look at that as well. I'm also going to touch base on some efficient accounting systems that they can consider to streamline their operations. That is also one area that I'm going to talk about. Then the area of bookkeeping, that's Doc has said a number of times, the do's and don'ts around bookkeeping, how they can interpret their financial statements as business owners. And then I will do some little education on tax and compliance must knows, things that they need to know around sales obligations, payroll compliance, and some red flags around cash flow statements. So these are some of the things that God willing next week, Wednesday, we are going to touch base on. And I'm happy that Doc will be there to support me in this particular regard. So thank you very much, and we hope to see everybody online again. Let's try and share this invite with our colleagues. Tell people to watch and share it so that the next one will have full house of people coming to benefit from this session. Thank you very much, Toyin, for moderating this particular session again. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Did you hear everything we said we are going to be having next week? You don't want to miss out on this. Here you can post the section with your people, with your friends, family, colleagues, staff. They need to also learn all of this. So thank you so much, Sir Patrick. Dr. Bolu, before we call it a day, any other thing you would love to tell the audience, say to the audience before we leave?
Yeah, thank you very much. You've had Mr. Patrick. What should be expecting next week is again to be a very loaded session. You don't want to miss it. If your interest is to have a sustained business, please do everything possible to join us next week, and you will be glad you did. Thank you for having us today. Thank you for keeping company with us.
Yes, do everything possible to ensure that you do not miss next week episode. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we'll see you in our next content, next post, next video, next everything. Thank you so much.